Bring in Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia. He's vice chair of the House Republican Conference and a member of the Judiciary Committee. Representative Collins, great to have you today. I want you, if you can, just to break it down for us and tell us what's most important about what's happened now that Tony Podesta has stepped away from a firm with his name on it.
Well, I think what's happened is we're beginning to see that this whole circle, this whole mess is the Democrats have been trying to spin this web and story about the Russian involvement and the indictments that came down yesterday. But what's amazing is on the way to the party, they finally got caught themselves. And I think Podesta is stepping away. These clients have been stepping away for most of the year now. They see the connection that's going on here. I think the interesting thing is when you look at the two brothers Podesta, my question is they're trying to deflect off to a Russian investigation or collusion. My question is, you just had a bad candidate. Hillary was a bad candidate who didn't relate to the American people, who didn't get out and campaign, who didn't work, who didn't do the things she promised. And Donald Trump went to the American people and said, you want to see something different in Washington, and that's what we're going to focus on. So Tony dropping away from a lobbying group that's having trouble and getting caught in this web, I just say, well, you know, turnabout's fair play and sometimes.
Judiciary Committee. The word is justice. So what does justice look like when it comes to the Podesta firm and this connection, Tony Podesta and his brother who worked for Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think if you want to fire shots, if you want to be the Podesta group and you're with Clinton and you've been talking about the fortune of last year and then dealing with Russia group, then if you're part of this, then Mueller the investigation is going to find out where you're at. If you didn't file the proper paperwork, then you're going to pay the price for that. If you're not doing what you said you're supposed to be doing, then we're going to find out about that. If you're paying for things in opposition research that end up getting used in different ways, those are the kind of things that we just have to look at here. And I just simply think this is something that he's stepping away from. We'll see how it moves from here. But again, I think this all goes back down to a thing with many Democrats. They're wanting to do everything they can to get us away from an agenda that is focused on the American people. That's tax reform this week. You want to talk about something that's really good, it's tax reform this week. The investigations will handle themselves. I want to talk about putting more money in the pockets of families out there so they know how to spend it and make dreams for themselves instead of Democrats dreaming about what could have been last November when they lost the election.
You know, Congressman Collins, and I hear you talking about that, and the economy is a firm focus, and you've got what's coming down in terms of tax legislation that the whole country will get to see tomorrow. Today, Democrats, though, have a vision about where they want the focus to be. And I want to share you some tweets by John Podesta, Tony's brother, Tony Podesta, who just walked away from the firm bearing their family's name. John Podesta tweeted this: "Not bad enough that I was the victim of a massive cyber crime directed by the Russian president. Now I'm the victim of a big lie campaign by the American president." At Real Donald Trump, which we know is the president's Twitter handle, seems a lot more worried now than July 2016 when he asked the Russians to hack our campaign. Your response to that?
Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. This is somebody who ran a campaign that was terrible. You're trying to deflect off your own work. At this point in time, the president won. He's working on an agenda for the American people. John Podesta, look, I would do anything I could to diffuse blame for myself as well. You had a candidate that didn't work. You had a campaign structure that you yourself was a part of that did not do what it said it was going to do, and you ended up in November doing exactly what should have happened. You lost. So let's quit this idea. You were part of this game. You've been part of D.C. forever. Let's work and to say what we're going to do for the American people. And John, if you want to spin it that way, then go right ahead. I think the Podesta group has a lot to answer for. They're going to answer for it in this investigation. We'll see where it goes from there. I'm going to support the president. We're going to support tax reform for the American people because that's what they voted for last November.
All right, real quickly before I let you go, Congressman Collins of the great state of Georgia, I want to get that in case we have to let you scoot. So look, it was paperwork that they're looking at with this firm, and did they have a client that maybe had ties to Russia and they didn't file the right paperwork? You say there's a lot to look at with the Podesta firm. Give me another example, and what does paying for this look like? What does accountability look like?
Well, I think accountability is let's just live up to the fact. I mean, paperwork matters in these kind of situations. We saw that a little bit in the indictments that came out yesterday. Paperwork does matter here. Paperwork matters in a lot of things, and I think so. We just look forward to it. Let the investigation do what it's supposed to do. I think we spend a lot of time focused on that. The Democrats would love for us to focus on that. I'm going to choose to focus on letting the investigation go where it leads, let it pick up them in the Podesta group, and go from there. We're going to focus on what matters for the American people, and this president, I think, understands that as well.
All right, and I take it from what you said, you're on board with tax reform. So we'll see that and what happens moving forward. By the way, I was born in the Peach State. Just a little disclosure there for you.
Hey, for all of us in Georgia, go Dogs. We're having a good year, and it's good to have you from there.
Thank you. Have a great day. Appreciate you joining us here on the program.